Welcome back to another episode of the All Tens podcast. I'm your co-host, Josh West, here with Clay Harris. And Clay, today we're focusing on something that we see a lot of our clients facing right now. They're navigating a complex landscape. The first quarter has been quite the roller coaster, multiple challenges to our clients. And in this episode, I want to focus specifically on one of their number one concerns, which is this persistent inflation and rising operational costs, certainly tariffs causing some ripples in the pond as well. What are you seeing with clients in session? What are their concerns about this, and how are we tackling it?
Do you call them ripples?
Ripples in the pond, yes.
Huh.
All right. If you've seen some tsunamis or tidal waves, let us know. Let's get into it.
I think it's actually an interesting semantic debate, but perception is reality. And so I think that the thing that my clients are feeling tied to the idea that everything is going to get more expensive or that revenue is going to go away is that they actually just have a bunch of uncertainty. Like most of the discussions that I've had, or most of the feedback clients have had right now, is that they don't know and they're worried. Hasn't necessarily directly turned into like new, increases in their costs on their P&L or whatever yet, right? Like it hasn't happened yet, but they're really worried about it. And so, I don't remember what your question was. I'm sure it was a great question, but like, that's what I'm feeling in my clients is like this high level of anxiety around potential worst case outcomes, which are in the future somewhere. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And for me, you hit the nail on the head as far as the perception being the reality. And what I'm seeing is that uncertainty leading to that perception of challenges and instability, certainly manifesting itself as fear, and then ultimately into inaction. A bit of paralysis there where it's, well, I'm going to wait and see. When is the dust going to settle? And so you see, not a lot of new projects. Everyone's just kind of holding on, if you will. And there's this desire to just maintain the status quo right now. But the fear is certainly palpable.
Yeah. So when you encounter that in the session room, you're working with a client, Josh, you walk in, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, it's 8:00 in the morning, and you feel that in the room. What do you do with it?
So, as always, I think, it's important for us not to go to the extremes. Whereas, some people out of that fear, it may lead them to say, well, I'm just going to ignore it. This isn't happening. I'm going to deny it. I'm going to stick my head in the sand. Others on the other end get completely caught up in the hype and the fear. And I think bringing them back to the middle is, hey, we've been through tougher times before. And the first, just sort of mental exercises, let's remind ourselves what we can control and what we can't control. And to what we can't control, okay, to the extent that we need to pivot or recognize that, that's fine. But we're also going to make sure that we focus our energy and our projects around those things that continue to benefit us and that we have control over. So first, it's a mindset thing before we even talk about tactics and strategy. And I'll come back to, that uncertainty and that fear. That's emotional, right? Like we're not even talking about the tools and disciplines yet. So then if we can overcome that and get in the right mindset, then the tools can take hold and we can come up with a plan. But
so
it's there first.
If I'm a leadership team member of a business that is feeling this anxiety right now and those sorts of things, understand that those are emotions and their feelings. Take me through, like if I say, Josh, all right, this is the feeling I have. We get past the emotion. the feeling, the kind of anxiety, and we can kind of get focused into like actually problem solving with tools and disciplines and those sorts of things. What's in your quiver? What is the arrow that you're pulling out?
So this is when it becomes dependent on the client, where they're at in their journey, and specifically the things that they're most concerned about. I'll give you two examples. One client, they've been in business for a long time, and times have been very good to them. And so, with that, particularly in the finance department, they've rocked along, not having to worry about it. These people haven't had to worry about making payroll for a very long time, right? And certainly they're out there investing in their people and training and expanding and all of these things. And so now, as there is that certainty and they're looking forward, 3, 6, 12 months, what's going to happen to us the rest of the year and trying to anticipate that. Then there was a shift in responsibilities within the finance department. They've got new software over there. They can get some enhanced insights and analytics out of that. And so for their finance lead, there was a project put in place to, okay, let's take a deeper dive into that and have some more in-depth reports coming out of that to see where we've got other opportunities or where there can be savings, because quite frankly, they just haven't needed to keep such a tight rein on it. As again, times have been good for them. On the other end of that spectrum, I'm in the room with a very new business, very different part of their journey. Thankfully for them, they have two different service offerings. And there's one of those offerings that is being far more adversely affected by these conditions than the other. And so then it's a simple shift, particularly in sales and marketing, to continue to focus on what is being less affected, maintaining status quo over here with the other service offering, and even understanding that that may take a hit, but in order to keep that balanced out, certainly a focus over here where things are being less affected. So it starts to get very specific once we get past that mindset in terms of just strategically and tactically what we can do within that organization. What are
Heard.
you seeing?
Yeah, I think there's a step in between, like, between like kind of you got to get the anxiety out, and sometimes the best way to do that is just to like let it all out, talk, kind of start going through like what's the worst case that like let people feel. First is like it's okay to feel anxiety about this. Uncertainty is not great for a business, for people. Second thing though is let's actually start sifting fact from fiction when we think about our future state, right? Like, what do we know for sure? What do we not know for sure? So, whether you use tool A or tool B or tactic C or whatever, the first thing to do is like, let's really make sure we're separating fact from fiction, understand what is real and what is not, right?
Yeah.
After you do that, after you understand what's real or not, and everyone's grounded in reality, right? You can still be anxious, you can still be scared, but we have a really clear vision of what's real and what isn't real. Then the next thing we have to do is decide as a team. Is the world happening to us or are we happening to the world, right? And that stance matters. And so the tools and the tactics that you use are a reflection of that stance. My experience is that clients who are working hard to get better every day happen to the world, right? They choose to be an active participant in the outcome, not an inactive participant in the outcome. So we've got a bunch of anxiety. We understand what's real and what isn't real. And then we choose to be active in determining the outcome. That's 80% of the battle, right? Because the next thing we have to do is pick the right tactic, pick the right tool, whatever it is that we're going to pick up and swing with gusto, right? And if we do that, we're going to win because most folks get lost earlier. Most folks will get paralyzed by the anxiety. Most folks will passively choose to have the world happen to them. But if you ground yourself in reality, choose to be the determinant of your future, 80% likelihood you're going to succeed because you own it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so that's kind of the message I'm feeling in the room with my clients right now is like, we got to get there, but once we get there, we got to go. Like, whether it's raining outside or a beautiful 75-degree day here in muggy North Carolina, we still got to do the work. It's just the weather. And so I don't have like a really specific example, but like that approach, that kind of vigor towards owning the future is what I think matters the most. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
I think we talked about this quote last week, or maybe it was in between podcasts, but the Warren Buffett quote, right? Like when everybody's greedy, I'm fearful. When everybody's fearful, I'm greedy. This is the time, right? Like, take advantage of the situation of a bunch of folks who are going to be paralyzed. Move faster, move more effectively, do it right. And the fun part about EOS for me is that we have a bunch of different ways to do it. We have a bunch of different ways to think about it, approach it, get creative with it, have fun with it. But ultimately, we're not letting the VTO not happen because of some externalities. We're in charge, right? Does that make sense?
Yes. Keep moving forward.
Keep moving forward. What else do we want to hit on this podcast, Joshy?
Well, we normally end with nuggets, and today mine for our listeners is clarity breaks are more important than ever. Particularly, I believe, on this pod, we've talked a lot about emotions and mindset. And for me, I love going for a walk, but being intentional about your clarity break, not doing it sitting there at your desk, and just really stepping away from the business and particularly being in it, and then just giving yourself the time and the space to get that clarity around things. I think that helps with the mindset and the fears and the anxiety, and then prepares you to come back in for battle, where, as you say, we're happening to it. It's not happening to us. That helps us with our confidence, and, just continue to be intentional about your clarity breaks.
100%. I don't have anything to add on that. I think that's a great one to end on.
Take them home, Clay.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us for another wonderful episode of the All Tens podcast. I'm Clay. He's Josh. We'd really appreciate a rating or feedback on the episode. Tell us what you want to hear about next. And we can't wait to talk to you again soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.